Morbidly beautiful radio. We horror.
Did you hear the one about the man who can't be destroyed? He was buried alive.
What more can you do to a human being? This is inhuman. He's got to be crushed just under the weight of that much dirt.
He was set on fire.
What the hell is going on? God! The cat's get on fire!
They carried him away. But he keeps coming back. Don't be afraid. Be terrified. As I lay me down to sleep, I pray my soul is mine to keep. My soul can never step outside this bed, never into all the evil. Now back from the dead.
Are you scared?
Be here.
And welcome to another episode of the Calling Hours Horror Podcast on Morbidly Beautiful Radio. Once again, it is I, your head undertaker, the dead man Michael Jones of MorbidlyBeautiful.com, Coughing Cuties Magazine, and Digital Dead Magazine. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? 'Tis the week before Christmas, and all through the crypt, not a creature was stirring, except for your local neighborhood dead man. And tonight, we have an absolutely fantastic show. As our feature interview this evening, we are going to have director, producer, and writer Max Cerchi on. For those that don't know Max is an award-winning film director and producer. He was born in Italy, and he moved to study and work in the United States. He made his first film in 1993. He works from concept to completion on each film, developing the ideas, assembling the creative team, and delivering a finished production to the distributor. In every project, he is part filmmaker, part consultant, and part workaholic. His distinct approach to filmmaking has attracted a client list that includes celebrities, rock stars, and other filmmakers. Max's work has been featured in national and international film festivals, and he has been a celebrity expert and film reviewer on various blogs and video blogs. Some of his upcoming work or some of his work includes films like Satan Claus from 1996, 2002's Holy Terror, 2016's Insane, and the upcoming films Lockdown and Mayday, both of which should be here, I would say, in the early 2018s. So make sure to stay tuned at 8:30 this evening to hear Max and everything he's got to say. He's really enlightening on distribution, what it takes to make the film, and how not to exceed your grasp as a filmmaker. So all the younger and first-time filmmakers, I feel like there's a lot you can learn from Max, so make sure to tune in for that. In our digital dismemberment spotlights this evening, we will once again have a Scream Factory double feature as we are reviewing A Dragonfly for Each Corpse and Exorcism, both part of the 5-disc Paul Naschy Collection 2 box set. So a little bit different with A Dragonfly for Each Corpse. The film is definitely more of the giallo style of filmmaking. So I really feel like, it's a different look from Naschy. Most people think of giallos from Italy and for being Italian filmmaking, but this was actually filmed in Spain. So I feel like it brings something different both to his film work and to the giallo genre as well. As far as Exorcism goes, really well done. Again, think Exorcism, think The Exorcist. Naschy playing a priest is fun to watch. It's different, but I think it's well played. Once again, 70s films, very beautiful women, very beautiful set pieces, very colorful. Both films were a joy to watch, so look forward to those reviews coming up here in just a little bit. We will also be featuring 3 bands in our Metal Massacre Spotlights this evening, so let's get right to that. In our first Metal Massacre Spotlight, the band is Visceral Disgorge, the CD is Ingesting Putridity, and the song is Colostomy Bag Asphyxiation.
Everyone can eat shit! A big bag of shit!
You just heard Visceral Disgorge. The CD is Ingesting Putridity, and the song was Colostomy Bag Asphyxiation. Visceral Disgorge is an American death metal band from Baltimore, Maryland that was formed in 2007. They are available through Friendly Fire Distro. You can visit them at www.facebook.com/Visceral Disgorge to find out when and where they will be touring and to pick up their CDs and merchandise. Coming up at 8:30, we have our feature interview with Max Cerchi, producer and director. But before that, it's time for some digital dismemberment. And in our first digital dismemberment spotlight this evening, we are covering A Dragonfly for Each Corpse from the Paul Naschy Collection 2 from Scream Factory. Now, this film was directed by Leon Klimovsky, produced by Jose Antonio Perez Geiner and Richard Sanz. Special effects were handled by Manolita Ponte. It was released, of course, by Scream Factory and came out on November 14th of this year. To give you a little bit of background info, a mysterious and fashionable vigilante in a hooded coat and red pants has been eliminating the prostitutes and junkies of Milan and leaving a small dragonfly sculpture, a symbol of vice, on each body as a trademark. It's up to Inspector Paola Scaparella to stop them with the help of his girlfriend Silvana, whose connection to the fashion world provides valuable insights. The investigation will lead them to a prostitution ring, an amusement park, and an enigmatic drawing one of the victims left as a clue. Could the killer be Professor Campitelli, who hides a dark obsession? Or Claudio Volpini covering for her husband's infidelities? With pressure from the chief and the body count rising, Paola and Silvana must race to find the killer. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, this is a very different film from some of Naschy's other work. This film definitely fits a lot more into the giallo genre. But then again, a lot of giallo films can be considered horror as well. You have films by Bava, Argento, even Fulci did a giallo at one point in his career. And one of the things that really stands out in this film, and it's something that I think is commonplace, especially in Italian cinema, and in particular in giallos, is just quite how striking the locations are, how colorful the background is. And this film hits on all of those marks in spades. Now, Naschy himself does a great job playing the detective. Very hard-boiled, very hard-hitting. A lot of other reviews will point out he's very much like Charles Bronson from Death Wish, and I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. He's definitely playing a detective that is frustrated with the case, and it seems that a lot of people that he knows, his acquaintances and his wife's acquaintances, are the victims of this killer. And the interesting aspect to all of that is all of these people have different vices. You have the professor who seems like he's into a lot of sex. In particular, seems to have a kind of necrophilic fetish in one scene. You have a gay fashion designer, cheating spouses, blackmail, cross-dressing. So there's a lot of interesting aspects that are all tied in. It can feel very soap opera-ish at times, but to me, the story never really drags. Now, the interesting aspect is who the killer is, and I'm not going to give that particular tidbit away. You're going to have to watch the film to find out who the killer is. But I kind of like how they made the world of fashion kind of a central piece to the storyline. And it's also interesting how the detective's wife plays an integral part in helping him to solve the case. And there's a lot of other interesting little facets to this film. There's a little side story with some white supremacist Nazis who are into slave trade and prostitution. I thought that, in a sense, it comes across as a little hokey, I guess, but for that time period and considering the political regime in Italy at that time, I guess it's really not that far out of place, even though the film takes place in Spain. You know, it adds a whole nother character element to the story. Now, again, I thought, for its time period and what it was, the film has enough action. And it has its fair share of gore. Now, I mean, this is not like a splatterfest, but some of the murder sequences are a little bloody. It definitely has you guessing. This will be one of the first times that I will readily admit I'm usually really good at picking out the killers in these types of movies, and I didn't get it until the final reveal for the most part. So it was nice that it wasn't like a giveaway right away on who the murderer was. Now, the transfer on this is pretty good. Again, this was one of those films that I don't think that they were able to bring over to the States to get a full transfer in. For the most part, I would say the film looks quite excellent. Very little print damage. It's a little grainy in spots, but it's nothing that detracts from the film. The soundtrack is very rich and boastful. If you have a good home theater system, you will definitely pick up on all of the nuances that go on in the soundtrack. As with the majority of the films in this collection, there really isn't much in terms of special features. And again, I find that to be a shame, but overall you can't really fault it because Naschy is not alive. Some of the other particulars are not alive. It would have been interesting to see a retrospective from some modern filmmakers or fans of Naschy's films to see where they feel like this fits into his canon of filmmaking. But again, it's a really beautiful film in terms of the style and the look, so there's plenty of eye candy to go with. Of course, the film comes with a trailer, and that's pretty much it. Now, of course, you have the booklet that comes with the box set that goes into more detail about the film. Now, again, it's a little different seeing Naschy not play, the monster or facing some kind of supernatural terror. But I wish he would have done. Of course, he did a couple more giallos during his career. I would have liked to have seen more films like this to see how much more he could have explored in this genre. Overall, I would give this movie probably a 3 out of 5 stars. Again, if you're going into this looking for the typical Naschy fare of werewolves, monsters, yetis, vampires, and things of that ilk, you're not going to get that. But you're definitely going to get a film that is stylistic, sounds fantastic, has all of the vices that you could ever look for and expect from a giallo. So you're not going to be disappointed if you're a fan of that particular subgenre. And it's an interesting addition to this Paul Naschy collection, too. I think it's really neat that Scream Factory has, again, brought us something that's hard to find, especially for this newer generation of horror fans who may not know who Naschy is or his importance to the genre and filmmaking in general. So I would highly recommend that you run on over to screamfactory.com. If you're lucky enough to have a big box retailer in your area that is selling this box set, I recommend that you go pick it up. It's well worth the investment, and I think it's something that fans of any of those genres would really enjoy, and anyone who is a fan of, this Italian style of filmmaking, the giallos, would really enjoy, and it would make a great Christmas present. I know it's really, really close to Christmas, but you could do worse than picking up this box set. Coming up in just a few moments, we're going to go into our feature interview with director and producer Max Cerchi. But before that, we're going to go into our second Metal Massacre spotlight. The name of the band is In Mute, the CD is 1 in a Million, and the song is Waiting.
Trying not to wait, I think that it kills me. World has only been for place of all this pain, killing me and all of your going to your point. The world calls me and I am not menu. Looks like the rain, and my body cannot block the bleeding sighs. I'm dying inside of my blood, searching for my peace of mind. My praise is mine. What is the after time we will come? To find it out the love of love, I will be a man. This is as I am, the God of the menu. From rise to peace, just to be. Why? We can't learn from broken. It's a process, but it's a market. It's choice.
welcome back. You just heard In Mute. The CD was 1 in a Million, and the song was Waiting. In Mute is a Spanish melodic death metal band from Valencia that formed in 2003. They are unsigned at the moment, but I would tell you that it is a female-fronted band, and they are absolutely outstanding. You can visit them at www.facebook.com/InMuteBand to find out when and where they will be touring and to pick up their CDs and merchandise. But now it's time for our feature interview. And it's time for our feature interview this evening. And tonight we're going to be speaking with a gentleman that's been on my radar for quite a while. This gentleman is a writer, producer, director, just about anything else you can do in the industry. And his name is Max Cerchi. Max, welcome to the show.
Hello, Deadman. How are you? Thank you for having me.
I'm good, and I'm glad you could be on. Like I said, you've been on my radar for a while, and I really think this is going to be a fascinating interview. You have quite the resume, and the majority of it is in the horror industry, which of course is right here in our wheelhouse. So I'm looking forward to a good time.
Oh, me too. Absolutely. You know, I've been in the business for maybe too long. I started when I was, I started in 1994. So I started really 23 years ago. So it's been a long road.
It's just absolutely stunning looking over your list of credits. To give people an idea just out the gate, kind of talk about how you broke into the industry and why horror in particular.
All right. I was born in Italy. That's why my weird accent. When I was 18, I decided to go to study film business. So I went to LA and I studied with Doug Siemens. After a couple of years, I opened my own production company, and I started producing with a movie called Satan Claus. Satan Claus was done in 1994, if I'm correct. After that, we started doing more horror. The reason why I choose horror is simple. I was a fan, and I also realized that it was the only genre where you don't need a big star to make a movie. So since it's called film business, and horror actually sold very well up to last year. Right now, horror is not selling so much, but we go on that discussion later if you want. Then I started doing horror since I was a fan, and I like the genre and everything. And step by step, I kept making a name, if I can say that, for myself. And right now I'm branching out from horror because, like I said, horror is not selling very well since 2016. So I was told by my distributor to move on a different area. And since this is my only job, and it's also not called, as I say, film business, I need to make money, to pay my bill, unfortunately. I'm not a millionaire. So I moved to the action thriller, and we just finished two movies, 2017 Mayday, which is action thriller with some horror element in it, starring Michael Pare. And after that, we did another action thriller called Lockdown, again with Michael Pare and Bailing from, Anne the King, The Crow, and the bigger budget Hollywood movie. So it was a pleasure to have her and Michael on set. Michael, we become very good friends, so it will be in all my new productions.
Now, one of the things that I find really fascinating about your work is a lot of times when people get into the industry, they usually focus on one side of it. They either direct or they produce or they do effects or whatever. But you're not that kind of person. You're the guy that goes, as IMDb puts it for you, you're a concept to completion guy on each film, and you wear many hats.
Unfortunately, you have to do it in the business because I don't have the money to hire 5 or 6 people to help me out. My crew is composed by 3 people, which is my also does the camera and the lights. My audio guy and myself. So, all three of us have different hats, and we have to shoot the movie in only 2 weeks. So we have a very limited time to make it happen.
Now, for you, do you find that to be a challenging aspect to the job? Do you enjoy wearing all of those hats? If you had the opportunity, would you spread that out, or do you like having that complete control?
I always, I started doing this, and at the beginning I was doing everything myself. I only had an audio guy sometimes. So now that I have, a DP and an audio guy, I can concentrate more on the directing aspect. But I like to do more things because I feel it quote unquote boring, just directing. So I want to do more stuff on set, which is always good because this business you need to know how everything works. Because if someone is missing, you can easily, they can easily be replaced. And in the low budget business, it's always a plus.
Definitely.
Of course, if someone would give me $1 million to make a movie, I'll take it. And I will hire more people. I'm not a hypocrite. Immediately, I will say, thank you very much. Let's make a bigger movie. So I started making movies with $8,000, then 10, then 15, then 20, then 30. Now I'm making the last 2 movies. It's $100,000 movie. They look made with a little bit more money. They look like a couple of $1 million movies. That's actually what a couple of Hollywood executives told me. So the quality is going up, and I'm able to pay more. I'm able to pay more, and I also am. I can also hire people that I want to hire, like Michael Paré, Biding, and other people that can make the movie be a little bit more sellable.
And that was one of the things that I was going to ask you. Budget-wise, when I watched the trailer for Mayday, I was absolutely stunned. And for you to sit here and say that you're talking about $100,000 budget, that film looks like it was done for a lot more. Of course, so many films these days, they move away from actual film. Everything's done on digital. How do you go about getting such quality out of your products? Because like you said, I would have guessed out the gate that Mayday would have been at least a $500,000 budget, if not more.
Actually, we showed the trailer of Mayday to the producer of Axel Ridge, the Mel Gibson movie, and he thought it was a $2 million movie. And I said, actually, no, it's made with 100. And as soon as I heard that, I felt like nobody was on the other line for a few seconds. And then he said, okay, let's meet. I'm like, all right, good. So hopefully the meeting will be in January. Hopefully we'll have a nice meeting, and hopefully I can have more money to do a bigger budget movie. The quality, if I don't sound too how can I say, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but my DP has 20 years experience. I have 23 years experience. So pretty much on set, it's 50, it's a 50-year-old two-headed guy with some experience. So we are able to do a movie that looks like more, we shot with more money, thanks to the good acting, the good camera angle, the good lighting. Michael Paré brought a lot on set, which is fantastic. He's an amazing actor, and I tell all my actors, if everybody would be like Michael, my job would be pretty much done. I would just maybe sitting down in a chair and looking through a monitor. Right now, I have no chair nor monitor. I look behind the camera for all the shots. So it's with all these elements, the movie looks like was done with a bigger budget. I was able to find a 747 plane. It's in a studio. All the other studio wanted $80,000 to $90,000 for a week of shooting. I was able to find the exact same plane for $10,000 a week. So
oh wow,
the set was 20 grand versus $160,000, and that helped a lot. Of course, the producer they loved it extra cost, and then have to spend more money for quote unquote stupidity. So that's why right now I'm able to work a little bit more due to this formula. Pretty much one location, name recognizable actors, and 2 weeks shooting.
You know that you bring up an interesting point, and it's an argument that I don't know if I want to say argument. It's definitely a discussion I've had with a lot of independent film directors, producers, and things like that. You know, you look at what you're able to do with your budget and the quality of your films. You know, why is it, do you feel that the bigger budget studios aren't willing to take chances on lower budget films similar to what you make? It seems like with what you're doing with the budgets that you have, the quality of your movies looks vastly superior to a lot of the stuff that Hollywood is cranking out these days.
Oh, wow. Oh, thank you. Well, what I think is Hollywood is run, I don't want to say this, but old men. So these people, what they want something safe and secure. That's why right now we have a lot of remakes, because what they do, they sit on a table, the horseshoe table, and they say, okay, what movie made money for us in the past? Then they say, I don't know, let's say a very easy one, Evil Dead. Oh, okay, Evil Dead, good. We have the story. Let's give this to my cousin / friend / friend of director / blah blah blah. He can make it happen. We know him. So he made one commercial and made another short film. Because if you check this new director, they made pretty much nothing. So this meaning what you know, not what you're not able to do. The two different things. So based on all these elements, they say, okay, let's put, I don't know, $20-30 million plus $10 million marketing, which I don't have. That's money I don't have marketing, and let's make another $300-400 million. And that's pretty much what Hollywood is doing nowadays. Remakes over remakes over remakes. It's quote unquote formula. It's called film business, so I understand them 100% because they have to make money, but they don't want to do pretty much any risk. They do an Avenger movie now and then. They see that it's making lots of money, superheroes, so now they're putting all the superhero out, and that will be pretty much the formula for years to come. What I found is a good distributor that is taking care of me. So, and I told them, I can give you 2 or 3 movies a year, which will be, say I'm very honest. Most people say fuck Hollywood and say I'm open my doors to Hollywood, my hearts to Hollywood, because that's where the money are. So when these hypocrites say, no, I will never do Hollywood movies, that's bullshit. Everybody wants money, everybody wants recognition, and everybody wants their movie to be seen. So this formula, I think, after maybe 5 years, 10 years, hopefully will open one door and they can make a bigger budget movie, which will be more than happy to do. If not, I will keep doing, my $100,000 movie. Investor making money back quickly and I'm not making millions, I'm making some money, to pay my rent, pay my bills. And as long as I can, tell my stories, which I have carte blanche, so pretty much I can do anything I want, I will be more than happy to keep doing so for 20 years.
Now, going through your resume, I'm on IMDb, and we know that sometimes IMDb is not accurate, but there were a couple of things that caught my mind. And I know that you started directing in, 93, 94, but there were 2 things that really, really caught my eye, and that was you have a couple of special effects credits listed.
Which they're not mine. It's another gentleman called Alvaro Pasteri.
Yes.
Yes, it's on page, but for some reason this goes on my page. I asked for years to have those removed, but they don't go away. So
okay.
I don't know what to do.
Okay, good. I just had to ask because I'm sitting here looking at that, and I'm like, wow, he's been working on stuff for years.
I'll be very young if I do.
But
I'll be like 17. I'll be 17 for the special effect thing. So no, it's not me. It's not me.
Now, what I did want to ask you though is, in particular, I would say that my favorite realm of filmmaking was probably from the 70s and the 80s, especially Italian horror. I'm a huge Lucio Fulci fan. I'm a huge
Okay.
Dario Argento fan. You know, for you being Italian and coming from Italy, can you kind of talk about how is it viewed over there? You know, when you talk about the history of Italian filmmaking, especially in horror, do you feel like there's added pressure on you to, I don't want to say replicate, but to uphold that tremendous lineage that comes from Italian cinema?
I am more American as a director than Italian. So I since I was a kid, my first movie, my first horror movie was The Hills Have Eyes, and I remember seeing Michael Berryman for the first time. I was like, he would be very good. That's when I started to say, oh, I can make movies. You know, like a kid, of course. Oh, I can make movies. You know. So I started writing stuff, and I really liked Michael Berryman. I loved his performance. And in 1994, actually, we became very good friends. He was my best man at my first wedding. So we started a good friendship. Now he's making, again movies, big budget movie with Rob Zombie. So we lost contact, but I still have his number. So sometimes we speak, and it would be a good thing for me to have Berryman on one of my sets again. Now, talking about Italian horror, like I say, I'm more American than Italian. I don't know if you can see it from my movies. There is not too much Italian references. I try to have, if I might say, my own style. I like Argento, I like Bava, I like Fulci, all very good directors, but I was more, on my mind since I was a kid, more on the U.S. market.
Okay. Now, let's start at the beginning of your career as a director. And again, of course, we're going by IMDb, so if dates are wrong or titles are wrong, please feel free to correct me, because the first one that's listed for you as a director is listed as in 1993 as Brainmaster, and I could not find anything on this film. Can you kind of give us a little bit of background on that particular project?
Absolutely. I started Brainmaster, like I said, in 93, which is correct, was my first quote-unquote movie. We shot this in Italy, so I wanted to see if I was able to put, what I had in my mind on film. So this pretty much was a short film. It was like 40 minutes. I did with a friend of mine that now is not even in the industry anymore. He's doing a completely different job. He's still in Italy. He's doing comics. I think we lost contact for a long time. So we started that together. The difference was that in 94, right after this movie in 93, I left to study film business in LA, and he stayed in Italy he didn't want to move. He was scared. Most people in Italy are scared to move overseas. I don't know why, but I don't understand it. Then after that, I went to study film school, and then we started shooting Satan Claus. Mm-hmm. And then from Satan Claus up, we produced around a couple of movies a year or so. So it was, it's a great business. The only problem is, at the beginning, you don't know anybody. There was no social media. There was nothing. So pretty much it was like, there was a magazine. It was called Independent. It was the magazine called IFC. That's how IFC started, actually, back in the days. I can't remember the name of the magazine. It was Independent Cinema or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then I just start, making contact with people from the DP, from someone who was, sharing your passion. Because, I had $8,000 when we shot Hellinger. And I was like, do I buy a car or do I make a movie? So that money went to make Hellinger, which is still selling. It became a cult classic in 99. And I'm still getting a few royalties. It's $300 every 4 months. So it doesn't do anything. Doesn't pay not even one bill, but
Hey, at least it's still selling. I mean, that's something. There's something to be said for that.
Yes, SGL put it, re-release it, and then he put it on double feature From Hell #2, and it's still selling very well, actually.
I'll have to find myself a copy of that one.
double feature from Hell 1. I'm sorry. There is like Hellinger in that one. You can ask Jeff to send you double feature from Hell 1 and 2. Number 2 just came out in Halloween. So there is a collection of all my movie. There is Hellbill in it, Carnage Road, Holy Terror, and Hellinger. So there is something in it. So
Now,
pretty much my old goodies.
well, because it's just that time of year. I mean, this interview couldn't have fallen at a better time. You know, it's only become recently that Christmas-themed horror has really become a thing. I mean, there have been, you had Silent Night, Deadly Night, which of course was very controversial for its time, but you talked about Satan Claus.
Yes.
Talk about, at the time that you made that, like I said, holiday, especially Christmas-themed horror was not a big thing. How did the concept for that one come about? And, did you guys catch any flack for using Christmas as a backdrop for a horror-themed movie?
Strangely, no. I had an idea of an evil Satan Claus, like chopping body parts of different victims and using the parts to decorate his Christmas tree. With a big head on top of the tree. Instead of the star, it was a female head. To start decomposing during the process. Well, it was very cool. I had the idea, so we came out. I was brainstorming with my writers, and we had the cool title, and he was coming up with different things. Let's have something like Satan Claus, and then, it's fantastic. And then pretty much Satan Claus was born. We shot that in New York, Brooklyn, most of it. Which actually the movie sold every Christmas, so it was very nice. And unfortunately, there are no more copies. I lost the master after all these years. So there is the master actually was very dark. So when we sell the movie, I was telling everybody, just put a note on the thing that the master is dark. No, the people will adjust their brightness on their TV. It was back in the days with VHS. And actually, we sold the movie very well. It sold out. We did VHS and DVD. Someone asked me for a VHS copy 2-3 weeks ago. I have no idea. I don't even have a VHS copy for myself. I really have no idea where to find it. I was a collector of VHS. And it sold very well. No people say anything. So it was something new back in the days. So it was good. It's good. Like I said, the movie sold out. I cannot even do a remastering or anything. So it's done,
Now, one of the things that I also noticed looking through your filmography was 2003 you did Hellbilly, okay?
That's correct.
And then there was an 11-year period where it seemed like you stepped away from the industry.
I actually worked in the offices, let's put it that way. I was working for a distributor, and I was behind the scenes. So, and I'll tell you why. From 1993, 94 until 2003, was very hard to be getting paid by a distributor. So there were only two options: suing them or just eating dust. So sometimes I sue them, sometimes I eat dust, because to sue someone you need a nice amount of money to pay attorney and then fees and this and that. That's why distributors keep doing this nowadays. They keep not caring about the little guys. They keep taking their movie, selling the movie, and then not paying the guys. So it's annoying. But now I'm older, so I have some money saved just to sue people. Hopefully, knocking on wood, it doesn't happen anymore. But you never know. So I had to step down because this is my only job. I don't have any other job. So I have no other skill, unfortunately. So I had to make ends meet. And I work for a distributor that was based in Asia. And I was traveling from the Philippines to Thailand to Malaysia, so various different Asian countries. So I did this for 8 years, made some more money, and then I restarted to make movies again. that was the plan, all the way to do. I started making movies, let's say 2015 with the Megafile.
Yes.
Then there was actually a TV pilot for a sci-fi-ish TV series. I'll send you an excerpt from that if you want.
Sure, I would love to.
Then I got a call from an investor saying, "Can you make a found footage movie?" I was like, "Sure, I can make a found footage." I was like, "I never done it, but that's okay. I'll make a found footage movie." And that was the investor of Insane. Thanks to Insane, we sold, as of today, 52,000 copies. So that put me back on the map again. And I got money to do the night shift. Then we did then Mayday. Then we did Lockdown. Then I have 3 more movies, that we are hopefully planning to do by 2018, 2019. And then I have another movie that we did called House of Evil that is not been released yet. We shot that in 2013, and for various reasons, it's too boring and long to explain right now. The movie was never released until now. So at the beginning of 2018, it would be distribution.
Now, you also, I take it you're still doing it. Now, do you still do, are you still the head of foreign acquisition and distribution for SGL Entertainment?
Yes, I am. I am helping, in a way, Jeff. And Jeff, SGL is getting bigger by the days, not thanks to me, but thanks to him. So Jeff proposed me to say, "Why don't you help me out doing this?" And I was more than happy to do so. And SGL is growing and growing and growing. So as of now, they have already 2018 full. The rooster is full. So plenty of movie that Jeff would be releasing for next year. But Mayday and Lockdown and my other production, they're not going through SGL, not because they're not capable of, which they are, but it's not their genre, and we need a distributor that does pretty much action. So for those movies, we went with Taylor and Dodge.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor and Dodge is the distributor of the new movies of Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren, and so on. So it will have hopefully limited theatrical release and things like that.
Yeah, Jeffrey out there, he's an amazing guy. I really respect the work that he does and how he gets all of these films out here. I kind of feel like, there aren't many guys like him out there that are willing to take chances on films, the way he promotes them. And, I do think you do deserve credit for that, because if you're part of the acquisitions and distribution, you're helping them find these projects. So I really applaud what both of you are doing by getting a lot of this out here. And no problem. One of the films in particular, now you didn't direct it, but I did watch it last month, was Laundryman. You were an executive producer on that film.
I did pretty much nothing in there. That was pretty much an honorary credit that my friend, the director, gave it to me. So I don't want to take any compliments on that. It's always due. I got this for friendship reason, I think.
Well, what I wanted to say about that film though was, like I know Stephen Biro, who owns Unearthed Films, and I myself am a big fan of extreme cinema. And after watching Laundryman, it was just one of those movies that after I watched it, I sat back and I was like, sometimes as a guy who reviews films, as a guy who's worked on films, I sit back and I'm like, how did that movie impact me? What was the initial feeling? And I have to, again, I feel like I have to applaud you guys, because that was a film I think was very risky when you look at the content and just how graphic it was and how far it went. You as a filmmaker, as a producer, how do you feel about the more extreme content? Is there a line that you would not cross as a filmmaker when it comes to something in that style?
I will do it, but I am more businessman than art man. Let's put it that way. I want to make money. That's what's called film business. It's called film art. So I need to do things that nowadays are sellable. Like I say, this is my only job. I don't have any other job, no other skills. So I'm pretty much fucked. Something happened to me. So I'm more on another angle. I go to my distributor and I say, what movie do you want? What movie is selling? And they'll tell me, for example, Western are not selling nowadays. You have to do an action movie, do a thriller, do this. They don't want horror anymore because horror is overdone. So they have buckets, no buckets of gore, but they have buckets of film that now everybody's like, horror, who is in? And they tell names that, that nobody knows. They're like, nah, we pass on that. Or they pay very little money. So it's not worth it for me right now doing horror anymore.
Sure.
I like extreme. I have no problem. Someone will tell me, Max, if you do an extreme movie, we'll make money. I'll say, okay, let's shoot it. I have actually a horrible idea that someone sent it to me, and I felt dirty just reading the screenplay. Like this guy. I'm very serious. I will tell you the story prior, because if we say, on the air, someone will take it and will do their movie. But something so disgusting and vile, and just reading it, I felt sick. Like, oh my God, this is horrible. I have to make a movie about it. That was pretty much. So I contacted the guy, saying, I want your screenplay. We agree on a very low price. Like I said, take it. Just make it a movie. I'll just sell it to you. It's like, great. So I have this in one of my drawers, ready, and pretty much, let's say, the human centipede is not incorporated.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it's something that just reading the first 5 pages, you feel dirty. You look around, like, what the hell am I reading? Yeah? Something really, really not underground, but like super underground. It's like underneath the tunnels of the subway, where the rats and and all the pipes are passing by.
I'm telling you right now, if you go into production on that, I want to come out and set and cover that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We need to find the money. We need to find the money to do this. This is what it costs. It costs maybe $100,000 to do, because the special effect and the ideas that this guy had on paper is something that's disgusting. I spoke with Dieter Laser, the actor who was in Human Centipede, and he said, Max, I will be in this movie. It's fucked up, but if you do the movie, just call me. I want to play the lead. Let's put this. I don't want to say too much. I want to play the lead. It's like, oh, great. And it's really something that once we talk in private, you and I, you would say this is fucked up. And I will tell you, you didn't even read the screenplay yet.
I'm already hooked. You don't even have to say anything else at this point.
Yeah, we have to find the money. If we find the money, I'll be more than happy to shoot this. I think we will get banned in other countries after this movie will come out.
Well, see, that'll automatically generate sales. Once you get banned somewhere, that's what you beg for at that point.
Absolutely. It will be something that people feel, like I say, dirty just looking at it.
See, now, and I find that to be an interesting aspect that that it grabbed you that way, and you've done some of your own writing, but when you get sent a script, or when you're offered a script, something that you did not write, what intrigues you? What makes you look at a script and go, man, I really want to work on this, outside, of course, of the monetary thing as an artist? What grabs you?
Well, I am a very practical person. All my movies are one location. So if the screenplay has 20 locations, I tell the guy, you can't do this. Yeah? You write the screenplay based on what you have in your mind, which is the opposite on how I write screenplay. I write screenplay based on what I have. Let's say I have a plane. Oh, I have a plane. Cool. Now I can write a screenplay based on a plane. Most screenwriters that write stories that are like 20 locations, lots of people, and I say, we never have the money to do this. And if I had, it will be too much stressful. I can never shoot this in 2 weeks. It will be taking me 2 months. And then, of course, I would need double the money to pay, people for 2 months instead of 2 weeks. So this is what I look. One location. That's what I tell everybody. Send me a screenplay based on one location, few actors. If you can do something like that, I'll be more than happy to read it. And then if I like it, we'll shoot it. Mayday is the plane. Lockdown, it's police department. I have a movie that will be shot on a boat and on location. I have a movie that I'm actually be shooting next year, February, I hope, on a train, another one location. So, horror movie, they're always one location, a house in the backyard, and this kind of stuff. So, what intrigues me is one location. If someone give me like 10 locations and 20 people, and we have to shoot this movie, one scene in Dubai, one scene in Italy, yeah, come on. I don't even, just send me the synopsis and that's it, pretty much. And, it's easy to write a screenplay based on what you have in your mind, because there is no limit. It's hard to write a screenplay based on what you have, because then you have to have a story that has to fit just for everything. So for one location. So you don't want to make it boring. You want to make always action. You want to make it moving. So it's challenging in one way. It's easy in one way, but challenging in the other way.
For sure. Now, I get what you're saying, that, you're hearing from a lot of distributors and production companies that horror is not selling well. But I wanted to ask you, you look at the last year or so, you look at the success of a movie like It, you look at the success of a series like Stranger Things, and it seems like all of a sudden, horror is starting to get its legs back again. Why do you feel that the horror genre, kind of more than any other genre, goes through those cycles where when it's in, it's really in, and then when it's out, it's really out? Why so much in the horror genre do you feel that that's the case?
Well, what I was told by everybody, and also what you can say, that everybody's a director nowadays, quote unquote. Everybody say, "I watch a movie, I can direct now." But pretty much this. So what everybody does, horror movie. So now the market is overflood. So if you have a movie, will be pretty much the same story. It's the house, it's the wood, it's this. It's pretty much the same thing. Just a different guy behind the camera with slightly different idea and a slightly different maniac, pretty much. The genre is overdone. Distributors like even SGL, ITN, and lots of them. What's their catalog? Horror. So these pretty much are not movies that they sell per se, but they are fillers. Fillers of the movie that goes to the various VOD channels, streaming channels, pay-per-view, not TV, but the pay-per-view online, etc., etc., etc. So right now there are lots of those, and buyers, they'll take it, of course, but then they'll pay you a little money, like $15,000. $15,000 doesn't even cover the set for me, or paying Michael Pare for 2 weeks.
Sure.
Do anything. So I can't do a movie if I get $15,000. I get nothing. They say, "Oh, we'll do a buyout for $30,000. Like, okay, then I pay my set, which is $10,000 a week, so it's 20.
Right.
I have to pay at least 1 or 2 actors, it's gone. Very good. So at least it's $1,000 for a small set. So let's say $15,000. So pretty much this is what I think. It's overdone. Everybody nowadays is grabbing a camera and shooting quote unquote a movie. Everybody wants to win some film festival for some reason, because they think they get recognized by everybody, and then a big producer will arrive with a big check for $1 million to you. It doesn't work that way. I keep telling people, don't do a short film, do a movie. I was telling at the time, do a horror movie. Now I can't say that anymore. I said, do a movie, and once the movie's done, try to sell it. But what the distributors ask nowadays, who's in it? That's the first thing they ask. They don't ask you what's the story about. They ask you who is it. So if you tell people nobody is there, then goodbye. So that's pretty much it.
You know, and that's an interesting point that you bring up right there. You know, being an older horror fan, you know, I'll be 42 in February. You know, I remember growing up that the stars of horror films were not the actors.
Was the maniac. Yeah, it was the maniac. Absolutely. It was the villain.
Well, not only that, but I mean, like it seemed like in the 70s and the 80s, a lot of the films sold on the director's name and who was doing the special effects. You know,
But nowadays the director's name worth nothing because you have all these kids making movies thinking they are better than you with an ego that goes through the roof.
yeah,
And of course they don't know anything because they cross the line. They don't even know what crossing the line is. They don't know anything. You know, I just watch a movie. I'm a director now. So I watched ER yesterday, so I can go to an hospital tomorrow and operate on someone based on this mentality. Yeah, so it doesn't make any sense. So right now it's not selling it based on nothing. What's happening now is something that really annoys me. People that win face off, the special effect people now are director automatically. Doesn't make any sense. But why? Because now they have a name and people are following them. So what's selling nowadays is not the talent per se, but is how many followers you have on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. And that's sarcastic to be done actually. Even if you don't go talk with a distributor, like well-known distributor, you tell them who is in your movie, Michael Parade. They open IMDb. They say Michael Parade. Oh, it's rated 2,000. Very good. So it's top 5,000. Okay. Then who you have? Bailey. Oh, it's rated 2,000. Very good. All right. Who else do you have? And you say someone else is rated 200. So this is how pretty much things are made nowadays. It's just very cold, sort of an algorithm. And that's how they try to sell the movie. And actually, it's working for them by destroying pretty much every actor because they study, they did this, they did that, and then there is a kid who has 10 million followers on Instagram, which is an idiot, and the movie's based on it. So, that's pretty much what's going on now.
So I feel like you just answered this question then, but I'll still put it out there because I'm interested to see if you say anything else different about it. You know, I've been fortunate enough. Most of the stuff I've worked on personally, the directors have used digital cameras. I was fortunate enough to work on one film where we actually shot on 35, and that was an amazing experience all on its own. But do you feel like the movement towards digital cameras and things like that have hurt the industry? And you mentioned social media and stuff. Do you feel like that's helped or really hurt the industry in the long run?
It's a 50-50, and I'll tell you why. I work on Super 16, I work on 35, and for me it was hell because you have to worry. You worry all week until you get the dailies arrived and something is out of focus because the DP didn't measure exactly the distance. So that was hell. I never liked it. Like, oh man, I wish there was like something easier. And then they created back in the days the digital tapes. So I started working in '94 with the digital tapes, and everybody said, "You're crazy. You're not shooting a movie. Nobody's doing this." I'm doing this. I'm not crazy. Everybody will be digital in a few years. No, that's bullshit. Everything is digital. Then back in the days they say VOD will be the future. No, it's impossible. Now VOD is the future. So I'm like, see guys, everything is evolving. You have to adapt of the new technology. You cannot say, no, only DVD because I'm a collector. I need to have the DVD in my hand. Yeah, DVD actually sales is dropping, abysmally. It's a huge drop. You can buy DVD for $9. Nowadays, one before like $50, $20, $30, and it keeps going lower and lower and lower. If you notice why? Because they are not selling as before. So that it's costs 35 cents to make a copy of DVD, and they sell it to $9.96 Walmart. Meaning Walmart is taking 50%. So let's say $5 to you. Distributor takes 20%, 25%. So from $2, $50, you get $3 per copy minus marketing, minus printing. Pretty much, if you like, you get 50 cents per copy. If you like, let's say $1, just to be nice.
Sure.
VOD, VOD, you get lots of money. I sold this is my quote, just on Amazon Prime. On Amazon Prime, we sold 52,000 copies just on Amazon Prime. So that's where the bulk of the money came out. Then we sold 2,000, 3,000 DVD through Family Video, but that was like little money. So we made much more money on the digital format than on the physical format. Fans, some collectors, they have to hold the copy. They have to see the cover. I understand it's very nice because you want to see the cover, you want the DVD, you put the DVD inside, and it's scratched, you buy another copy, which is great. But nowadays everything is going VOD. Why? Millennials have no patience anymore. They want to watch a movie right there and then. They watch like 3 seconds. If they don't like the movie, they write. See, they have patience to write a horrible review based on the 3 seconds of movie they watch, but they don't have the patience to go to the store, buy a DVD, or order a DVD by mail. So it's a lot of, pro and versus. It helped the industry in a way that everything is cheaper nowadays to make a movie. I remember to edit a movie back in the days with the Avid, you need to spend like 20 grand just to have the Avid to do the editing. So that was hell. Now it's you pay $20 and you have the editing software to do it at your home. It's hurting the industry based that, like I said before, everybody's a director nowadays. Nobody's even reading a book about directing or doing an online course or just doing something. No. They wake up, they watch 200 movies, they know how to direct. Like I said, their ego is on the roof. I have no ego, so when I see these kind of people, I get pissed off myself. And they flooded the market with horrible, horrible movies. Some people say some people say that I don't make good-looking movies. I don't care. My movie sells, so I don't care. And then flooding the market with these $2,000-$3,000 movie, what they do? They make nothing, but they want to have their movie being seen. So the distributor prey on these kind of people. They don't pay them. They have another movie that does catalog, and so they can sell 20 or 30 of this movie for $20,000. They make $20,000. Then they tell the guy that the movie didn't make anything. The guy is like, oh, okay, I have no money to sue the guy. And that's pretty much what Twa does.
Well, you're not the first person to tell me that, so.
There we go.
And I'm one of those guys. It's funny, and that's one of the things I really like about SGL Entertainment. I'm one of those guys that I like to have the Blu-ray. I like to have the DVD.
I know. But you're one of the few. That's the problem. That's why there is no market anymore. Because nowadays, the millennials, they want to watch the movie right now and then. So VOD is the way to go. And Amazon Prime is offering movie for free. Insane is on Amazon for free. So what you do? You just do the membership and you watch the movie for free. We get paid, thank God.
Right.
But, we get paid, but they don't want to pay anymore. I was talking with a friend of mine, Carlos Borloff of Monster, Matt Martin, I'm blank in my mind. And he has a lot of followers. He's putting T-shirts for sale and nobody is buying the shirt. He said, why nobody's buying my shirt? So, it's the reality is now that everything has to be fast, everything has to be ready, everything has to be quick. So, as filmmaker, we have to adapt to the new technology. Most people say, no, I will never do VOD. I still remember that. I will never do VOD. Now everything is VOD. So, adapt or die. That's pretty much the thing.
Now, kind of, if you would speak on, you've been featured in a lot of national and international film festivals. For you, what do you think about the experience of film festivals? Do you enjoy going out, meeting the fans, seeing your film screen? How do you feel about those things?
I prefer doing a convention than doing a film festival. And film festival, I don't do them unless I get invited, and I'll tell you why. Film festival is for people that they believe that they will get the distribution because their movie goes to the film festival. Doesn't work like this anymore. And it now works, you have to go to the American film market, buy a badge. The badge costs $700 for a week.
Oh, wow.
So when your screen, go there with your briefcase or flyers or a copy of your trailer and movie on a memory stick, and go to the various distributor and say, "This is my movie. You want it?" They will watch it. They will tell you yes, or they will tell you no, and that's it. That's what I still doing it. I have 10 distributors that want lockdown right now, but what I do, I went anyway, talk with them at the American film market, because you have to meet these people in person, because you know who the money guy is. Nobody's doing research anymore, pretty much. Everybody's like, "Oh, let's do a festival. Let's spend $50 for each festival, and let's cross finger that my movie doesn't get, overlooked because there is a friend of the guy who organized the festival that already know what movie to put in, blah 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 blah." So it's quote unquote scam film festival, quote unquote. I don't
No,
know if it's called the film festival scam, but I have to pay $100 just to have my movie to be seen. Doesn't make any sense.
no, I agree with you. I kind of, a lot of the films that I've worked on, that's one of the things that the directors lament is, my God, I got to pay this $100 just to enter it, and then it's not even a guarantee that it'll be picked for the festival.
Of
And
course not. There are
yeah,
like 2 million people for 10 spots. That's pretty much. That's how the festival makes money, pretty much. That's why there are, before there were like 5 or 6 film festivals. Telluride Film Festival, the few good ones. Now everybody has a festival. There are like 20,000 festivals in LA only. So the guys say, "I'll give you $100. Can my festival win the lower?" "Oh, of course. Then they won. They put on their DVD, "Winner, best movie," and then the distributor watched the movie. And it's a piece of shit. They don't buy the movie anyway. So it's just an ego thing to have their name as winner, best movie, best director, best actor, whatever it is, on the cover, and then your movie's not making any money. What they have to do is send a screener to SGL. SGL is one of the few, maybe like him and a couple of other ones, they pay. So that's why I really like Jeff. Jeff is one of the few distributors who really pays, and he's very honest on that. Send the movie to a distributor, and they will look at it. It's much more easy. And they will tell you no, or they will tell you yes. And as simple it is. If they tell you no, you say thank you very much. Don't tell them fuck off. They say thank you very much. Take the movie, send to another distributor. They will tell you yes or no until you get to one. They will tell you yes. Then after they'll tell you yes, you don't know if you get paid or not, which is another thing.
right.
So do a research first to see which distributor are paying and which distributor are not paying. So if you know that your movies with, let's say, ABCL distributor, I don't know if it exists, I'm just making up a name right now, call your 20 friends, pretty much do this. See what movie are being distributed by this guy. Then call the director or the producer and say, "Listen, I want to go with this distributor. Are you getting paid?" They will tell you, "Yes, I'm getting paid," or "No, I'm suing them." And then you do a little research like that, and then, keep sending your movie to them until someone will say yes, and be ready to have some money to sue the guy. Because most people don't do that. They don't sue the guy because they're worried. "Oh, it will destroy my career." You have no career. It just started. What career you have? And then even if they destroy your career, which would not happen, you just sue the guy and then go to another distributor. That's how simple it is. The other distributor will be more than happy to take the movie, knowing that the other guy screw you, so he can pay you and they can prove they're better than him. So you make money, they make money, their reputation goes up, the other guy's reputation goes down, and that's it. It's a simple marketing thing. Nowadays, people are making movies without having distribution, which is really scary. And if you have an investor behind it, he will tell you, "Okay, do you already have distribution?" No, let's make a movie first, then we'll see. That's really scary, because then you spend, I don't know, 20 grand, 30 grand, and then what do you do with the movie? You do self-distribution with distributor, which will cost you money.
Right.
This conversation can go on for like hours. So.
Oh no, but see, but I'm that's I'm glad that you're expounding upon it, because you're right. I meet so many young filmmakers, particularly that want to work in horror, and they think that, oh, I'm going to make this, it's going to get picked up, I'm going to make all this money. I'm really
You know?
glad that you're setting this out there so that people can hear it. You know,
No,
you're
I tell them
someone.
all the time. You know what they tell me? No, my movie's different. All right. Then don't listen to me. And then after that, they'll call me or they'll send me an email or a Facebook. Hey, Max, do you know? And I said, no, I went to you before. This is your movie will make money. You know, I really went on a limb, but I really wanted to introduce you to someone. You say no? It's not my fault anymore. It's not my fault from the beginning, but you know, I cannot keep opening doors. And then I help a couple of guys. I don't even get to thank you. That's really. I don't want money. I just want to thank you. At least like a courtesy. Oh, Max, thank you for introducing me to LCGL, for example. Not even that. So it's annoying. You know, like I say, everybody has huge ego. I'm very humble. I have no attitude, no ego. You know, I started from the real bottom, and I'm known. You know, thank God, because you know, after 23 years, it would be strange about it. Not even two people know me. Well, at least I'm known. But I don't have money. And I keep telling people I'm not a millionaire. Yeah, I have to pay rent. I have to buy food. You know, and this is the only thing I do. So my movie has to make money because I'm more worried about my investor to recoup and make money than myself. So nowadays, people don't care about nothing anymore.
No, and to me, you know, like I said, it's very nice to hear someone who's been in the industry who's trying to impart that knowledge on the younger generation, because you're right, a lot of these people, they don't give a fuck, and
No,
they'll tell anyone anything just to get something out there. And like I said, I'm glad to see that, you know, you are a good shining example of, you know, this is how it is. You're not afraid to tell people what the reality
no.
of it is.
Absolutely not. And I tell people, you will not make money. No, I will because the movie is fantastic. You won, 20 awards. Did they pay you for your work? They give you money? No. You want nothing. You want a statuette that you can buy yourself at the store for, let's say, $20 and say I won an award. That's pretty I won a couple of awards too. You know, a friend of mine won 50 awards. But then, you know, they're not rich. They have 50 awards in their house, but they're not rich. This business is called film business for a reason. So it's not called film art. So what you have to do is market yourself first, market the movie, and have a manager, which is very hard, have an agent, which is very hard, have a group of people that you have to pay, BP, audio guy, you know, I'm very small crew, so I'm lucky. And then you have to have a name nowadays to sell your movie. You know, a small name, but you have to have a name. So
Sure.
I'm glad that I'm friend, with Michael Pare, I'm friend with Jim Tavare from Harry Potter, I'm friend with Stuart Key of the Fast and the Furious, Vince Romo from Fast and the Furious 7, Jeff Kim from Blue Bloods, Crystal Santos, she's the lead in Men at Arms on the Ray Network, Scott and Grotti is a recurring role on Scorpion. And then you build a team. You build like a sort of, that's why in my movies you always see the same people. Why? Because you know what they can give you and they know what you expect. And you make a team, you work always with the same people, and together you make, I don't say millions, but you make some money. They don't understand that you have to team up. Everybody, it pretty much is an asshole. They work with you one way, let's say as an actor. The actor comes to work with you for free. Then you make some money, they give you money to do the second feature, they will never call this person. So, that's for money, who cares about that? There's no loyalty, there is nothing anymore. So, like I say, it's called film business, but you have to have one side to show that you're a loyal person and you do contract with a handshake. If you can do that, hopefully after many years, most people think they do one shit, they become millionaire in a day. After many years, maybe someone else will take under your wing and you will make some money. For example, the Soska sister, I don't like them. Absolutely, they're horrible directors. But they have boobs, so thanks to the boobs, they got fan. Thanks to the fan, they got, followers. Thanks to the followers, the movie gets picked up by some film festival. They won some award at the right time. There is maybe someone in the industry looking at the movie. They see how many people are behind you. Say, okay, let's give them a chance, and they make some more. They make some movie. So that's one example. The other example is work hard, believe in yourself, make movies. Don't expect to make money right away. build yourself, make a name for yourself, cross your finger, that's a little bit of luck and something good will happen.
We're almost here at the end, but I wanted to ask you something that I saw on your IMDb, and I don't know if it's style, I don't know if it's just you prefer it, but one of the things that caught my attention was it said one of your trademarks was that you always wear yellow tinted glasses. Is there a particular reason for that?
Yes, there are. There are prescription glasses. So I need them to look to see if I can see nothing. Second thing is the yellow will remove the excess light daytime and nighttime. Since I have blue eyes, they are weak, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. So you need a little bit of extra protection. Since I am on set all the time, I need an extra protection all the time. So they're not vanity glasses. They're just something that I need to see and help me see better since you remove all the excess. Pretty much I see HD. Let's put it that way. I see HD. No, I see it. Like the HD glasses, that's pretty much the same effect that I have. So I see everything clearer, I see everything better, and makes the world a little bit brighter.
I would like to think that I'm the first person that's asked you that question.
Actually, you are.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen, a Morbidly Beautiful exclusive. We now know why Max wears yellow tinted glasses.
There we go. Scoop.
There you go. I couldn't ask for any more. Well, we know that Lockdown's coming. I really enjoyed the trailer for that. Mayday, I enjoyed the trailer for that as well. I'm really excited for both of those. There's one more film that's listed on your IMDb, and if you can't talk a lot about it, that's fine. But
you can tell me.
What can you tell us about The Ripper's Son?
I was hired by the producers to do this movie. The movie has no money yet, so it's one of those projects. Maybe yes, maybe no. So I don't know. It's a Jack the Ripper story again.
Hey.
It's been told in a different way. They want to do it like $10 million, and I told them good luck because I don't think they can raise $10 million into their first feature. So I told them, be realistic. They don't want to hear me. Oh no, it's a fantastic story. I know they will listen to this, the 910, but I have to tell the truth. And I told them, let's make, instead of this, it will cost $10 million, let's make something for $100,000. And with this $100,000, you can make, double your money, and then we make another one, and then once you reach, maybe $1 million or $500,000, we can make the Ripper Son. But of course, everybody has a vision. They want to do something very complicated, very expensive, period movie, so that requires a lot of costume, lots of set, traveling to London, or renting a set from Warner Brothers, which will be like $50,000 a day, $30,000 a day, which is something ridiculous. And I told them, no, it's my project. I really want to do this. Okay, first of all, thank you so much for hiring me for this movie. First of all, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But I'm also honest, and I'll tell you, it will be very hard to raise the money. I'm in. So you raise the money or not? If you tell me, Max, I only have $100,000, I will tell you, let's try to make it, but let's not make a time period. Let's change the story. So I don't know if you notice, most people are very attached to their story. They really want something that has to be exactly what's in their mind. And I appreciate, the focus, but you cannot spend your life on one screenplay. I have right now 6 screenplays ready. So when I call with an investor, I told them, I have a sci-fi movie. No, sci-fi doesn't sell. That's all they can say. Okay. Then I have an action. No. Then I have this. No. And I have a mafia movie. Oh, let's do a mafia movie. Good. Then I call another investor. I say, I have a mafia movie. Mafia movie I don't like. I have a horror. No, they don't sell. I have an action. I have a sci-fi. Oh, sci-fi. Great. So you have to have like 6 or 7, more than, okay, let's put this, more than one screenplay or more than one idea to present to the various investor. And one of them, of course, we like, hopefully, one of the 6. And they will tell you, let's make it. But if you have one project and nobody likes it, you go around and around with this thing for years. And I have no patience for that. I have to pay bills, first of all. I have no patience to, will drive me nuts, one project, and call 200 people, they will tell me no, maybe 199 times, and then the last one will say yes. And then I'm so tired by it, I don't want to shoot the movie anymore. Or I have 5 or 6 ideas, and I have a poster for all the movies, so it's eye-catching. And then they go, how about this, how about this, how about this, until I get, oh yeah, let's do this. For example, I was supposed to shoot a mafia movie. What did I do? I changed screenplay because I wanted to do a train movie, an action thriller on a train, due to the fact that Murder on the Orient Express made lots of money, and there is a new movie called The Amnesia called The Commuter coming out in January. What does this shows? That right now movies on a train are sellable. So let's make a movie on a train, action. Let's have some good names in it, and let's sell it. And that's exactly the investor understood very easily. They absolutely, let's make this first instead of the mafia movie. Yeah, and
Right.
Here we are. So you have to be a little bit more, you have to be flexible. You have to understand input from other people, and you have to be willing to change things on the fly. Most people don't do that because they say, "Oh, I'm a director. This is my vision." It's not your vision, because one, all the actors on set, they have their own, in their mind, they have their own character already developed, and two, if your vision doesn't sell, because the public doesn't know that you wanted a guy with a red shirt instead of a guy with a blue shirt. Yeah? Maybe the blue shirt is 50% off than the red one. So what do? You buy the blue one. Yeah?
Right.
But most people don't get that. So they're stuck on they live in their own little world where they are geniuses and nothing happens.
Max,
Like,
I'm right there
thank
with
you
you,
so
man.
much.
As someone who works on low budget indie films, I am right there with you. And like I said, I think it's so great that you're imparting this knowledge, and I hope that the people listening to the show take your message to heart, because you're right. I've never done a big project where people are going to listen to me when I tell them the exact same things that you are, and I'm glad to hear someone that's had the career and the success that you have is saying the exact same thing that I tell these people. It's just so refreshing to hear someone else say it, and I really respect you for that.
That happened on Hellinger. I was interviewed back in the days, 97, 98, about Hellinger. The guy, I don't know where he comes up with the stuff, says, I noticed that you have red curtains in the movie. Red curtains represent the blood. My answer was, I had the red curtains because that's what I had. If I had blue curtains, there would be blue curtains. If I had black curtains, the guy say, okay, let's move on. Let's go to blood. All right.
Yeah. Sometimes a curtain's just a curtain.
Yeah, that's just to analyze something that you never even thought about. Like, see, who the hell speaks this way? The red curtain, the thought there was like in a really oniric experience or subconscious thing that you want to tell. That's the only curtain I had, man. Saying very, very bluntly, but that's pretty much what I had. So, so that's why I keep telling people, write a movie based on what you have. Do not write a movie based on what's in your mind, because you were never able to afford it, unless because maybe you were thinking about castles and a cave and a dragon. Instead of saying, okay, what do you have? I have a bus. Okay, let's make a movie about a bus.
Right. Well, we're right here at the end, and we know about your coming up projects and everything. If people want to follow you, they want to find out more about you, more about your films, websites, social media.
I am always on Facebook. I spend 12 hours a day on Facebook. So follow me on Facebook. My full name is very long. I'm sorry, guys. It's Massimiliano. Last name is Cerchi. Send a friend request. I have, let me check right now, 4,998 people, so I can only take 2 friend requests right now. Everything is private. I don't have anything public except for, maybe the cover of Facebook cover and a couple of pictures. Or the way to follow me, maybe if someone invites me to a convention, I'll be there, and let's shake hands.
Definitely. Well, Max, I want to thank you so much for being on. You're always welcome on the podcast. If you have
Thank you
any,
so much for having me.
you know it. If you ever have any news you need up, let me know. I'll put it up on Morbidly Beautiful. I hope one day, if I ever make it out to Cali, you and I can get up and meet. If you ever come over here to the East Coast, North Carolina, you let me know, man. I'll do anything I can to help you out. But thank you so much for being on. I really, really appreciate it. And I wish you all the luck with all of your projects, man.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate your time, and thank you guys for listening to my ramblings. And see you. We'll hear each other next time.
You know it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And once again, we'd like to say thank you to Max Cerchi for coming on and talking about his incredible film career so far, the aspects of distribution and filmmaking, how social media impacts the filmmaking industry. Really, really fascinating guy. I look forward to having him on the podcast again here in the near future. Now, coming up in just a few moments, we're going to go into our final digital dismemberment spotlight this evening, where out of the Hall Nashi Collection 2 5-disc Blu-ray collection from Scream Factory, we're going to be talking about the film Exorcism. But before that, we're going to go into our final Metal Massacre spotlight this evening. The name of the band is Death. The name of the CD is The Sounds of Perseverance. And the song is Spirit Crusher.
Dream
Welcome back. You just heard the band Death. The CD was The Sound of Perseverance, and the song was Spirit Crusher. Death is an American death metal band from Orlando, Florida, founded in 1983. They're kind of currently not touring anymore, as one of the key members has passed away. Now they have done some tribute shows and things like that. You can visit them at www.facebook.com/DeathDTA Tours to pick up their CDs and merchandise, and should there be another future tour, I'm sure that is where you can find the information. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for some digital dismemberment. And in our final digital dismemberment spotlight for the evening, we are covering Scream Factory's Blu-ray release of Exorcismo, better known as The Exorcism, or Exorcism here in the United States, from the Paul Naschy Collection 2 5-disc collection. The film was directed by Juan Bosch, produced by Jose Antonio Perez Gainer, and the special effects were done by Alfredo Segoviano. Just to give you the brief description on this film, after a near-fatal car accident, a young woman exhibits signs of demonic possession. Her terrified mother calls in an exorcist in hopes of saving her daughter's life and her soul. The priest, of course, is played by Paul Naschy. And it's, with everything else that I've seen Naschy in, it's a little strange to see him playing a priest, but he plays the character well. Mind you, he looks like a priest that could whoop anyone's ass, but, who's to hate about that? I would say that this film is a little bit different than your typical exorcism films, or, even comparing it to The Exorcist. Whereas The Exorcist pretty much had the possession and the demons, right out front. This movie is a little bit more of a potboiler. You get to see the setup a little bit more. Again, very dramatic, very European filmmaking from the 70s. And basically, this young lady, she goes to this, I don't know if you want to call it a ritual at a beach. There appears to be a lot of drugs going on, and on the way back, she's in a car accident with her boyfriend. And as we find out, apparently the young lady has had a lot of troubles, been hanging out with the wrong crowd, things like that. And a friend of her mother's, who is the priest, played, of course, by Naschy, he's not sure what's wrong with her. I mean, of course, evil possession is not the first thing that the people are thinking. They're thinking more along the context of who she's hanging out with, the drugs, etc. Well, as family members and other people close to her start to die, she starts to exhibit more and more aggressive behavior. But again, you're not really sure at first that she is actually possessed by the devil or some malevolent spirit. They try to help the young lady along. She continues to defy orders. There's a strange strange older man in the house that appears to have been spying on her. He's a servant. He's been taking, nude erotic pictures of her, things like that. And it turns out that he is part of a cult that she is involved with, and whether wittingly or unwittingly, she's been involved in some of these rituals. Now, with this one, I think that the print turned out to be a much sharper print than some of the other features in this box set, even though Scream Factory puts a disclaimer at the front of this disc about how the best copy could be made from the transfers that they had. Again, this was a title that was not able to leave Spain to come over here for the process. Just like the majority of Naschy's other films, the film looks absolutely stunning. Visually, I think it's a very appealing film. Again, just like Dragonfly for Each Corpse, I think the backdrop and the set pieces are very colorful. The colors for the doors, the curtains, the clothing, everything is very 70s. It just has a very rich look and feel. The soundtrack in particular I found to be extremely haunting, especially the kind of chanting, moaning music that follows throughout the entirety of the film. As with the majority of Naschy's films as well, this one in particular has a lot of nudity, both male and female. In particular, female. Again, they're very beautiful women from the time period, again, when plastic surgery and things like that weren't the norm. So it's very much more of, a natural female look. And overall, again, like I said, the film looks good. I think the plot is really good. Now, if someone is looking for straight up demons flying around, plates flying around, beds levitating, things like that, you're not going to get a lot of that in this film. Again, it starts off, again, it almost seems like a giallo in the first part of the film. It's not really until the last 20 minutes that full-on demonic possession is seen, with body transformation, scarring, the actual manifestation of the demon, with incredible context for this film. It reminds me a lot of Lucio Fulci's The Beyond. Of course, this predates The Beyond, but that's the visual style that I equate this film to. Now, with this release, this one did have the still galleries, the trailer, and then this one also includes alternate clothes scenes, because again, in Spain at this time, nudity was kind of I don't know if I want to say taboo, but it wasn't exactly looked upon in the kindest manner. So a lot of the scenes involving the Satanism, they shot with an alternate clothed version. And the pacing and everything is exactly the same in those scenes as it is in the uncut international versions, which is the main part of this disc. I don't know, I hope it doesn't sound misogynistic. I feel that the nude scenes add to the film. It adds an element of danger. It makes the rituals seem more realistic, if that's even a good way to put it. Overall, it's a very nice film. Again, don't go into this thinking The Exorcist. This is not The Exorcist. You're not going to get that same style of elderly priest versus the demon. In this, Naschy is much more of a physical presence, and the exorcism part of it is not drawn out. Included in this is actually an incredible fight sequence between Naschy and a German Shepherd, and I mean, he kicked that German Shepherd's ass. It was actually quite impressive to see him in this role. Overall, I would give this one a 3.5, 3.25 out of 5. Again, I found it to be entertaining. I liked the build-up. I really enjoy these European-style Euro horror films. Again, there's nothing really to dislike in this. I mean, it's entertaining. To me, it was a thought-provoking film. I liked how they handled the possession end of it. I liked how they handled the actual exorcism part of it. You don't get the whole really contrived Catholic rules of exorcism as you may initially think of them, while Naschy does do things that you would expect from a Catholic priest, such as the holy water and things like that. Again, this is not your basic procedural exorcism. So I would highly recommend, as I did before with A Dragonfly for Each Corpse, I know it's close to Christmas, but head on over to shoutfactory.com. If your local big box retailer has it in stock and you're fortunate enough to be able to buy it, go ahead and pick up your copy of Exorcismo, or Exorcism as it's known here. It'll make a great gift. Fans of this style of film will really enjoy it. And as an interesting side note, I found out this film was never theatrically released here in the United States. So this is a good way to see yet another film by Naschy that may not have gotten as much exposure here in the States as it did overseas. Well, once again, I think we had a great show. The next show, we are going to have Sean Burkett on, famously for Don't Fuck in the Woods, and he will be on to talk about the sequel, Don't Fuck in the Woods 2. We may also have some other cast members from that upcoming project on with him. But I want to say thank you again to Max Cerchi for coming on and talking with us. Again, as I stated before, I really feel like he provided everyone with a wealth of information. If you're a new and up-and-coming film director, I definitely feel like his advice is something that you should listen to. I don't think he would steer you wrong. Make sure go check him out on Facebook. Check out some of his films. It's really, really talented guy. And don't forget that he has 2 projects getting ready to come out here shortly. The upcoming Lockdown and Mayday. I would like to say thank you to Screen Factory for sending out our copy of the Paul Naschy Collection 2 5-disc Blu-ray collection, where we covered a dragonfly for each corpse and exorcism. And thank you to all the bands that we featured in our Metal Massacre spotlights this evening. Those bands included Visceral Disgorge, In Mute, and Death. So, until next week, ladies and gentlemen, have a happy holidays and rest in peace.
I tell you, boils and ghouls, sometimes the holidays really get to me. There's only so much good tidings and cheer a body can stand, especially if he's a dead body. Who ordered all this nauseating cheer? I've had Christmas up to here. I'm mad, and I'm not gonna take it anymore. So here's the little plot that I've got in store. Up on the roof with nails and saws, I'll build a trap for Santa Claus. And when he lands in that hokey sleigh, I'll make this Christmas crud go away. Ho, 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 you got to know, I've got a way to make it so. Up on the housetop, quick, 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 throw a big bag over old Saint Nick. Down from the rooftop, out in back, Santa reindeer sleigh and pack. Watch his Yuletide spirits droop when Chubbo's locked in the chicken coop. Ho, 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 you got to know, Fatso's tied up head to toe. This little plan will work because I'm going to kidnap Santa Claus. All of you kiddies are out of luck. This year's Christmas, one dead duck. Let all the little brats scream and shout, I ain't never letting Fatso out. Ho, 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 won't let him go, not for even tons of dough. I can't dream of a scheme so nice when I go and put Fuzzy Face on ice. Bye-bye to sleigh bells that gave me grief. Bye-bye to caroling, what a relief. And best of all, that blasted cheer won't be annoying me again next year. Ho, 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 now you know, dear old Santa has to go. Without that, so it's understood, Yuletide is down the drain. Ta-ta, au revoir, Christmas is history and gone for good. And if you think That's something, creeps. Wait till I get my hands on that rotten little Easter bunny.